Hello, everybody, and welcome. This is Dear James and my fabulous co-host, the Lady Jaclyn. And I am looking to bring her on because for some reason she's in the green room. The guest is in the green room. Well, she should be main stage. She can't be in the green room. Oh, dear Lady Jaclyn, we're back after a little hiatus, and look, we get all this fun. Like, where is she? Why is she? Where? Why? How? 1 second, everybody. We're gonna bring her in.
There we go.
There
I'm
we
here.
go. No, don't want that. Add right. Assign. Guest one. Look at us. We are back. Here we are. So if you're joining us, let's just restart this. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Wonderful Wednesdays with your hosts, Dear James and the amazing the Lady Jaclyn. We are back after a brief little week hiatus, and we could not be more thrilled to be here to offer you current energies, intuitive insights, and human design wisdom. So, wow, Jaclyn, it's quite the moment. It's a new month. We're right at the first of the month. New energies. A lot happening, yes?
Yep. Happy March, everybody. I want to say happy because I'm setting the intention.
It's
that
true,
it's going
right?
to be filled with joy, even though we are surrounded by a lot of chaos and crisis at the moment.
Yes.
So yeah, it's the new. I wanted to say it's the first, but it's not the first. It's the second. Is it the second? Yes,
It
it's the
is.
2nd of March. And can you believe that we are in a new month? Oh my good gracious. Like how quickly was February, and it's just going to speed up even more, which is exciting, I think, because we're kind of getting to the next phase of this level of consciousness, and I'm so ready for it. I don't know about
Isn't
you
it?
guys, but I'm so ready for it.
And there's quite it's interesting because as I sat down to listen to the current energies, and by the way, for everybody listening, thank you so much for joining us as always. And please put in the comments that you're here, say hello from wherever you are, and so forth, so we can acknowledge you and interact. And remember that throughout the show, throughout the broadcast, we are taking your questions live. That's the whole point of Jaclyn and I coming together, the Lady Jaclyn and I. We come together to offer you the intuitive insights, the human design wisdom and guidance, the current energies, but to actually address your life questions. So that's what we want to do here. So just as you are joining us, jump in and put your comments in so that we know you are with us. So yes, Jaclyn, it's very interesting because of course it's Pisces, right? It's the month of Pisces, which is the last sign in the astrological wheel before we reach Aries. You know a little bit about Aries, don't you?
I can feel it already. That's why I said I'm so ready. Like I'm at the train station. Let's go.
Now, come on now, Jaclyn, be honest. You've been at the train station, you're on the train, you've actually shoved it down the track and said, I don't know why you people aren't turning the engine on. Let's roll. Let's go.
Yep.
I'm right there with you on the train. We're pedaling along like the Flintstones or something, but Mach speed will be here shortly or soon enough, as they're saying. So because it's interesting. I mean, the beauty of Pisces is also the culmination of everything, right? It's the culmination of the past 11 months. So Pisces ends the astrological year and Aries begins it. So this is very interesting that Mars has the energy of Mars. Venus and Mars just moved. They're joining. They're conjunct today, tomorrow, the next day. That's really wild too. So there's a lot of, and Mercury is meeting Saturn today. The teacher and the communicator, the messenger.
Communicator.
So there's all these wild upcoming energies in this week.
And isn't it the new moon today? Or is it tomorrow?
Yes, today.
Today. Yep. New moon today. I mean, like I'm feeling it. I don't know about you guys, but I was feeling all of the emotional feels the last week. I mean, as we can expect, if you're directly impacted by what's happening in the world at the moment, or indirectly because you're open and you feel all of the energies like me, definitely feeling all of the feels. This week, though, as we start, it's quite interesting because it depends on how, I want to say, awake you are, in the sense of knowing what techniques to use to keep you grounded as we move through what we need to go through right now as a collective. It's going to be vitally important. So there's this push and pull of, I kind of am ready for the new and I'm kind of wanting to go forward, but oh gosh, there's still this not quite there yet. It's there, but it's not quite there yet. There's still a little bit of that tussle that's happening internally on all fronts, you know, whether it be physically, whether it be emotionally, whether it be mentally. It's that it's there. I can feel it a little bit more. I can taste it, I can see it, but I'm not quite there yet. It's like I'm 1 foot in, you know? Make sense?
No. Oh, absolutely. And how, as we, as we always are, synced up via the universe. Thank you, universe, because literally today, you know, the month and the day is a 5, right? 3-2 is a 5, and the hexagram 5 is nourished while waiting.
I mean,
Hello, bunk, drop it.
Yeah.
Because it's true, right? It's true. We're not quite there yet. We're seeing on a world stage what's happening, and we're seeing, and this just gives me goosebumps, because we're seeing representation of the old, this patriarchal kind of dominating, aggressive, you know, Mars, aggressive. And yet the world is reacting in a way that says, no. The solidarity, the absolute rejection of this way of being, and saying no. And we'll talk about this in tomorrow's show, but it's interesting how today and tomorrow, and I just saw this, one of our listeners and everything, I just saw on her Facebook page, she posted this beautiful image of sunflowers, and it evidently is the flower of Ukraine. It's the national flower of Ukraine. And so, and here we're talking about joy, and we're talking about the new, and we're talking about sunshine, and, you know, all of this that radiates the new. And here's this image, and on the world stage, sunflowers, the people, not only the people in the country, but what they symbolize. And here we are with this beautiful opportunity in today's current energies, and it's not about just today, but it's this, you know, the current energies, right, Jaclyn?
Absolutely. So, and it's incredible because you're seeing a push and pull on both ends of the spectrum, right? You're seeing that masculine, the shadow masculine, and you're seeing the positive, I want to say masculine, but also the feminine, the powerful feminine that's also coming through, you know, of two leaders that are equally powerful, but yet deciding, you know, behaving, one out of alignment and one who's really in alignment. So it's interesting to kind of see that also plan out. But then also very importantly is to kind of bring it home, you know, whether you're directly affected or whether you're indirectly affected. At the moment, it's so fascinating because it kind of catapulted me back to the beginning of COVID, you know, like when we were all hit with the idea of, good gracious, we're going to shut down. It was that stressor that came up, that uncertainty that came up. At the moment, we're in the gate 63, which is a head energy, which is mental energy. And it is actually the energy of doubt. Now, doubt is not a negative thing, actually. We need doubt in order to spark curiosity, in order to get the creativity needed to take inspired action, to create a new reality, or to make things happen, right? Or to actually, you know, move forward. So right now it's looking at doubt as if, are you externalizing doubt or are you internalizing doubt? Because if you're internalizing doubt, then you're going to, I want to say, manifest those self-sabotaging beliefs, those limitations, that fear that is going to keep you, that's going to keep you in that spiral that's disempowering, versus externalizing the doubt and saying, okay, I'm questioning how this is unfolding because I am open, or I'm sparking the first, I want to say it's the catalyst to actually inquiry, to uncover the truth, to get new inspiration, to kind of see how things are done. Like you said, people kind of going, no, we're not standing for this. We don't want to do this in this way. We want to do it in this way, right? But in order to do that, there was doubt. You doubted the way that things were running, or the way that things were unfolding. And then that was the catalyst for you to then allow for the creativity, allow for the imagination, allow for the spark, allow for the inspiration to kind of take steps forward to get us in the right direction. So even though you might be feeling doubt in of itself is not a negative thing, but how you utilize doubt, that is going to be the key right now. And I've been catching myself so much on a day-to-day basis when I'm, keeping up quickly with the news, just to double check, not getting too ingrained, like enthralled in it, but kind of just making sure I'm on top of, okay, what's the latest, what's happening. And I catch myself going, doubt, and then I'm internalizing it, coming from that space of fear, lack, limitation. And then I catch and I go, okay, no, thank you, the human experience, that's the old, that's no longer serving me. What is the truth? The truth is that it cannot stay this way, right? It cannot stay negative. It cannot, because there's always going to be polarity. You need to have darkness in order to understand light, but we're not going to stay in the darkness, right? It just, the duration of that darkness depends on how quickly people can actually transcend, how quickly people can transform and step into that newness. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And it's in alignment because, with doubt, like you just said, the positive and the shadow and the light side of it, because it's all energy, of course. Remember, every love, fear, doubt, all of these, everything is energy. So how are we utilizing them in every given moment? And it's so beautiful. Okay, what's the message? I was standing upstairs and I said, what's the message for the collective today? And I heard one word, and it so brilliantly then encapsulates the hexagrams and everything. But they said hope. And it was the word hope. And so you're talking here about gate 61 and doubt, right? And in a sense, what's the opposite of doubt? Hope, faith, trust. I mean, these beautiful words. And the archaic definition of hope is a feeling of trust. You can't make it up if you tried. I mean, that's the archaic, the original meaning of hope. And we kind of come in and we say, hope is an optimistic state of mind that is based on an expectation of positive outcomes with respect to events and circumstances in one's life or the world at large. As a verb, its definition includes expect with confidence, to cherish a desire with anticipation. And it's a very interesting thing about today and the energies, because we are right before the new. We're so close, and we're in this in between this transitory in between. And yet, what was so unexpected with the world events that are taking place, the unexpected reaction, the unexpected world reaction of no. And this beauty, and this applies to all of us, and we'll talk more about this tomorrow, because we're all sovereign. This is a sovereign country, Ukraine. Well, we are sovereign beings, whole and complete. And so there's this beauty of, and we have the right to defend ourselves, to respond. And that respond is the beauty of these, as we get into them and the current energies today, the energies, because they're a blend. They're a blend of the two. And it's interesting, hexagram 3 is a blend. And so it's very interesting, but yet what it means, because it's just to jump a little bit, difficult beginnings, persevere. So isn't that amazing? Like, 1 is the creative force, 2 is the receptive force, 3 you would think is the unity of them, and it is. However, it's difficult beginnings, persevere, because what's being required of us? what's being demonstrated on the world stage, the harmonizing of these two, the positive side, not the shadow side of them. Bye bye, shadow.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Bye bye, shadow.
Yep. Yep.
It's so
It
great.
is. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Guys, if you're tuning in and you can feel this, then drop a yes in the comments so that we know that you're resonating with us, that you kind of feel like there's a new beginning, and you kind of feel like you're just, it's almost like say yes to set the intention, I'm going to persevere. You know what I mean? Like that, yes, I'm persevering because I know I can feel the newness. I might not be quite there yet, but yes, yes, yes is your intention. That you are feeling it, that you're ready for the new beginnings, that you're doing the right work in order to truly step into this next vibration, because it is so important. I take it back to when we first, 2 years ago, when we were kind of all stunted with this idea of going into lockdown and the fear. And it's interesting because the pattern is the same now. The situation is different, but that experience is the emotions that we're experiencing is somewhat similar, right? So in saying that, it's almost kind of, are you going to get, I want to say, like, stuck in what's happening, like the overwhelm of, oh gosh, what can I actually do? How can I actually make a difference? Or what is actually going to happen? Do I actually have the ability to control my life? Like, the helplessness of what happens if, something really massive breaks, and then, what are you going to do, right? The overwhelm. Or you're going to kind of say, well, actually, I have the ability and the power to control my immediate environment, meaning how I respond to what's happening around me, how I treat people, how I vibrate. Because we now know when we're all vibrating at a higher level, a higher frequency, we're then giving permission to the people who are around us to do the same. And the more we can actually do that, it becomes like a ripple in the water. So even though you feel overwhelmed at, oh my gosh, everything is happening, and what can I actually do? How can I actually make a difference? Just by you taking the stance of vibrationally checking in with yourself every single day, making sure, actually, hold on, am I coming from a place of like higher emotions, vibrations, inspired action, kind of allowing myself to feel and process, like giving yourself permission to be like, it's okay, right, to feel.
You just sparked that, just not to interrupt you, just that phrase, emotional intelligence. Are you operating from a place of emotional intelligence? Because when we are, the shadow, the lesser, would not be present, because we would be elevating ourselves to say, take a step back, take a breath, do exactly what you're saying, and operate at a level that's an octave higher, that's just a higher frequency. And that's
absolutely
this emotional intelligence. Let's jump in, Jaclyn. Samantha, hello. Natalie, hello. Haley, Anne, all wonderful to have you with us. If you're listening, please shoot us a comment. That way we know you're there. And also put together if you have life questions that you would like intuitive guidance on and human design guidance on, put them in the comments. So let's see what we have. Hi, much love for you both. Happy, wonderful Wednesdays. Thank you, Samantha. Jump in, Jaclyn.
She also said she's also been feeling all of the feels, like right back at you, sis. And then Anne also said I was thinking that things feel the same as the COVID fear. I'm not buying into the fear, which is so phenomenal. Like, it's so true.
Important.
It's kind of,
yes,
so important to kind of not buy into that collective energy, but also give yourself permission to feel whatever is coming up as a opportunity to gain wisdom as to what the emotion is there to show you, but not getting stuck in it and overwhelmed by it, right? And then Haley also says, I have the feeling of not being able to control things in my own life. I've already set my mind in the right place about world events. That's absolutely true. That is, I think, the first thing. The human experience is kind of going, oh, good gracious, somebody else is controlling, what's going to happen in my life. But that, I feel like that's an untruth. That's not a truth, right?
That's not a truth.
If you really look, if you really look at the bigger scheme of things, yes, there's going to be certain things that are going to potentially change, prices of things might change, accessibility to things might change. But if you really ring true and stick to the truth, the actual truth of the plan, and the truth is that you're always going to be supported, there's always going to be resources available to you, you always have what you need in that moment in order to take inspired action to catapult you forward. There's always going to be an opportunity for you to be guided and inspired and protected and supported, right? It's kind of, that is the truth, that is the big truth. And it's playing with this dance of, and this is what the Gate 63 talks about, that doubt. That's the internalizing the doubt. Oh my gosh, somebody's controlling, what happens in my life. Somebody's controlling what happens in my business. Someone's going to control what happens, what directly impacts my family. But the truth actually is, when you externalize the doubt, you can check in and say, okay, what is happening? Well, certain things are going to be broken down in order for there to be a breakthrough.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And look at that. I mean, as painful as this is on a world level, you have each of us on a soul level playing our role. So you have a world leader that is aggressive, that is invading a sovereign country, doesn't matter why, but they're showing up, and it's not to get lost in the details. The point, though, from a soul perspective, is that soul is showing up and playing its role. And its counterpart is showing up and playing its role. And what's amazing is the beauty, the true, I'm not talking about the, how we're getting there. That's incredibly painful. The beauty, though, is because one soul plays its role and acts, and the second soul responds in a different way. And all of a sudden it allows the ripple effect, allows the world to respond in a like way of the second soul, to say, we're changing, we're not doing this anymore. And that is, I think that was underestimated. It's shocking because, again, there's a fear, the doubt, the uncertainty, the lack of control, this is happening to us. And yet when you see it even though it's painful, the beauty of the fact that it's allowing all of us to say within ourselves, no more of this, not this way. We don't need to live this way. And thereby it ushers in, it highlights, it puts light on the shadow so as for us to transform, so as for us to be in the new. Because the new, we would never dream of doing this. In the new, the light is illuminating the shadow so that it will cleanse it, purify it. It's not about eradicating, it's about purifying.
Absolutely.
Elevating, right?
And you can take that into your own life. Where do you need to purify, cleanse your thoughts? The beliefs and the patterns that you still are holding on to, right? Where do you need to elevate in your own life? Because that's the level of control that you actually have, is, okay, where do I need to elevate right now? Like, where do I need to lift myself? Where do I need to clean house so that I can continue in a frequency that's actually serving me and the people around me, and then ultimately the world? Because that's exactly what it is. It's like that ripple effect. And as soon as you get stuck in the idea of, okay, cool, there's really big things happening, it's maybe not directly impacting me, but I'm going to get lost in this chaos, you're not serving anybody. You're going to be serving everybody if you are actually staying true to the truth of the matter. And then how can you elevate? So this is a perfect time to literally, I want to say, James likes to use the word like eradicate the war within yourself. Right? It's like, go for it.
And because tagging on with you, and Anne just made this comment, and it's perfect, because it's not about hating something. That's a shadow. That's a lesser energy. And Anne says we can send the poor troubled soul virtual love and compassion to heal. Exactly. The point will be to eliminate the word hate, eliminate it from our vocabulary, and instead love more. the love, because that is what the responding soul is representing: empathy, peace, love, compassion. And that is speaking to the souls. It's giving me goosebumps. It's speaking to the souls. And of course, that speaks to the overall energy of the message: hope, a feeling of trust. This, not hope that it will happen like it's airy fairy, but hope in the fact that it's resilient. It's within us. And when we embody that hope, as Anne is saying, we heal. It's empathy, it's compassion, it's we can do more. We are more. We can do better. We are better. So it's about love. It's not about hating something. It's about loving something more. So the light gets louder and stronger and deeper and higher and wider.
Absolutely. And on that note of newness, I actually want to plug in that we have created a new group on Facebook.
Yes.
So if you have not joined that, then please do feel free to do that. I'm going to actually drop the link in the comments. So as soon as we're done, guys, jump on in and then tag and share it with your friends as well. Because what happens is the ripple effect is we're wanting to create a group where we can start vibrating at a higher frequency so that we can really make some massive shifts in the world, right? And it starts with us. So the whole point of the group is literally to bring us together and for a safe space for you to share your breakthroughs, your insights. Obviously, each week, the Wednesday and the Thursday show is going to be held live in the group as well. And like we said, it's just purely a safe space for you to engage more, because it's almost like it becomes private. It becomes this unique space where you can actually engage and connect and up level on a continuous basis, and not just on a Wednesday and a Thursday.
And we also did something which, again, came from the universe. So where we eliminated the word community. Yes, it's a Facebook group. That's what they're called. But really the word that came through was initiative. And so each of these, it's a space, a place where we get to come together and take the initiative, self-empowerment, self-transformation. It's personal. Take the initiative to change, to elevate, and so forth, to, in this safe environment, from a human design and intuitive insights, guidance, and wisdom place, see what the universe and what human design speaks to about these personal issues, and you take the initiative. And then as a collective, it is an initiative. It is the initiative to elevate, to live in a better way. And so it's both global, it's the collective, harnessing the power of the collective, and the personal. So the infinite and the finite. It's this beautiful melding of these coming together. And in that, no one, in the beauty of initiative, everybody can play, everybody is welcome. Everybody comes to the table and is a part of it. So there's really beautiful empowerment and unity in this. And that's what the Lady Jaclyn and I, that's what we wanted to create in the universe, helping us. And so, yes, if you haven't, the link is in the description, in the show descriptions, and Jaclyn, I believe, is posting it. So we have it there for everyone. So please, if you haven't already, yes, join us in this and embark with us on this initiative.
So there's two things I just want to clarify quickly, because I know sometimes it seems a little bit confusing. So we've obviously created the group. So it's the Intuitive Insights and Human Design Wisdom Facebook group. That is a completely free Facebook group. The reason we're creating the group, because I see Samantha also asked, what's the difference between this space and the group? So this space is you're potentially joining us live from one of our pages. Within the group, the lives are also going to be taking place there, but the group is there to hold a safe space for you to then engage a little bit more in. We're obviously going to have weekly prompts as well, where we continue the conversation. If anything comes up, we're going to be posting it within the group rather than just our pages, so you don't miss a thing. That's why we created the group, right? Then the initiative that James is talking about, is we are going to, it looks like potentially hosted every second week, but the first one is actually on the 8th of March. That is a paid experience, and we've transformed it. We're using the word initiative because it is literally an initiative where you're taking a stance to step into your confidence by awakening your self empowerment so that we can make a change. And within that initiative, it is a beautiful space where you get to dive deep into your chart with us. You get to ask your questions. You get to benefit from the collective answers from the people who are joining. Because remember, every single person that joins is a reason, there's a synchronicity. So think of it as the Wednesday show, but on a absolutely juicier, deeper level. So where this is very like broad, it's a general conversation. We take a few questions. We kind of keep it really, sometimes we dive deep, but it's not as deep as what the initiative is going to look like. And also in the initiative, we're going to give you some more practical tips based on whatever question you're coming up with. Like, so whatever question you're asking for, we're going to make sure that you kind of have a transformation then and there so that you can step into the next week feeling even more aligned to who you actually are. So those are the three things that are happening at the moment. We're still going live on the inside of both our pages. Then we've got the group, which makes it even more personal. And then we've got the initiative, which is even deeper, where we dive deeper into a group. And that is also, that is a paid event. And the first one is on the 8th of March. Yes. Does that make sense? Hopefully it clarifies it for everybody.
And the beauty of the group, Samantha, and for everybody listening too, is where the Lady Jaclyn and I will be more active. So where we do these two shows, Wednesdays and Thursdays once a week, we'll be popping into the group any given time. So we'll be there, so they'll have more access and so forth. And then the initiatives where it is a paid event and we get to go dive deeper and so forth with all of you. But the paid event is the fee is nominal. So we made it so that the price point is very affordable and attractive. And it's our way of both giving back and going deeper and so forth. And then of course we have our own individual paid and joint one-on-ones. So what we're looking to do here is really give you amazing access in ways that meet everybody's, there's something for everyone. So whether it's a one-on-one, the group, the Wednesday, Thursday shows, or the initiatives, there's multiple ways for you all to join us on this journey and in the new and so forth, and just continue to grow and evolve. And like we said, the beauty is in the reciprocity. We all learn from each other. We listen to the universe, we look at the human design, but the wisdom as well. All of it is in reciprocity. So we're all learning and receiving from one another, and it's a really beautiful gift. And so we're just trying to amplify the gift in a way that hopefully speaks to all of you. So I want to jump in, Jaclyn, with the actual overall current energies. And then again, we're taking your questions live. And I do want to come back. I believe it was Haley that was talking about the fear and so forth. And then she said, light bulb moment, because it speaks to this. So they said the overall energy is hope. And so we're looking at this, and then they said, and then I looked at it and they said a feeling of trust. And when you look at 3/2/2022, so lots beautiful twos, 3/2/2 is the day it's recognized as Mary Magdalene, so Divine Feminine, Mary Magdalene's birth date. But when you look at hexagram, so the month of March, and we're talking about Pisces, it's the last astrological sign of the wheel before we arrive at Aries, the new. So we're completion, culmination, the transition, and then we begin the new astrological year come Aries. So hexagram 3 is it's called difficult beginnings, and it says persevere. And the hidden influence is split apart, regenerate. And we've been hearing this in the last few months, this split apart in order to regenerate. So again, world stage, you can see where you might individually be dealing with this, a work issue, a relationship issue, anything, a friendship, whatever it may be in our individual lives, this hidden influence of splitting apart, things going away, things that are old, it's going away so as for us to regenerate. We can see this on the world stage at the moment. Its underlying cause is the cauldron. And the cauldron is about unity, and it's about refinement, to refine. So here, this painful process, we have, whether it's individual or collective, private, individual, world stage, the point of it is to refine, is to come to a higher level of being. And it says, and it speaks to dragging the adversary about when there is no adversary will cost you your inner treasure. And so, Haley, this belief that someone else has control, and Anne spoke about this in terms of how she's dealing with things and through meditation, Qigong, all these different modalities. It's about dragging the adversary about when there is no adversary will cost you your inner treasure. It'll cost you your peace of mind, your sanity, your health, your well-being. So it's to realize there isn't an adversary. Everyone's playing their role so as to split apart, so as to regenerate, so as to come into greater unity, so as to refine. And they said, there's a quote from Emerson that says, "Do the thing you fear, and the death of fear is certain." So there's this beauty in not having fear. And I'm just going to read a little bit about this. Just as a seedling must crack open and push through soil and rocks to reach its source of solar nourishment, all new endeavors encounter obstacles in the beginning stages. The time calls for persevering into regeneration. Obstacles refine our sincerity about what each hexagram is viewed to be the cause or response of the preceding one. Yet Chun is the result of two hexagrams. So hexagram 3 is Chun. The creative and the receptive interacting. So hexagram 1, creative force. Hexagram 2, receptive force. Hexagram 3 is where the two, it's the result of two. It's this receptive, the creative and the receptive interacting. Therefore, Chun embodies how opposite yet powerful energies give birth to something new. We're looking on the world stage. We're looking at how something old and something is, and these two powerful or opposing energies are giving birth to something new. Because without it, would we change? Without it, would the world rise up and say, no more, no? So there's the divine beauty in it, even though the process is painful. This hexagram has a unique message where an unavoidable but difficult encounter must come together, such as in marriage. Because the situation has never gone before, it lacks the clarity that comes from experience. Yet how refreshing. It embodies the sense that the situation is meant to be, and its opposing qualities are what brought it to life in the first place. That couldn't be more true on the world stage. Two polarizing different viewpoints of how we go about our affairs. This can be applied to our individual lives. Chun can appear when a commitment is being considered, and the act of considering it is what changed an easy attraction into something difficult. Remember, they said this invasion and so forth, the result or the pushback and the world pushback, it's unexpected. Thought it was an easy thing, an easy attraction, and yet it's something difficult, far more difficult than expected. Like nature, which would remain stagnant without necessary friction, Chun embodies perfectly how to embrace conflict as the driving force of evolution. Often we want to cast blame when we fail, but we always take responsibility for our success. To succeed, you must recognize how Tao improves deficiencies by sharpening them into skills. Jaclyn, you were talking about doubt. So it improves deficiencies by sharpening them into skills. Life has always been committed to your success, but going it alone is not an option here because the dynamic of interdependency is central to Chun. Learn to see the teacher in those who challenge you. Eliminate defenses and preconceptions so you can be lifted to a higher level. The hidden influence describes the splitting apart of a past way of thinking, while the cauldron refines and boils down our capabilities. Connect with your passion and purpose and persevere until you find a way to manifest your dream. In that regard, Chun embodies the dream coming into existence, We're dreaming of the new. We're anticipating and hoping and trusting in the new. The path ahead is new and promises wonderful transformational learning regardless of the outcome. So there's this beauty, and the 5, 3 and 2, which is a 5, hexagram 5 is nourished while waiting. Its hidden influence is opposition, yield, and its underlining cause is progress, enlighten. So you can see, Jaclyn, the energies here of this moment coming together, culminating in a way that is, it's like a mic drop moment, because we're sitting, and you're talking about 60 gate 61 and doubt and so forth. And here it is. It's like, it's in them because 11, today's number altogether is an 11, hexagram 11. Hexagram 11 is peace. Donk.
Absolutely. So, you know what was interesting, as you were talking, I was thinking to myself, I was like, okay, so I've gone through the 63 already. We've spoken about doubt. Is there anything else that I want to share? And then like I'm listening to you, and then all of a sudden I just get this, there's something in the chart, like look back at the chart. And I was like, okay, I'm going to look back at the chart while Dear James gives his message. And I look back at the chart and I'm like, I see it. And immediately the 60, the gate 60 jumps out at me. It like literally flashes at me. And right now, actually collectively, which is interesting, the transit at the moment, it's actually a reflector chart. So there's no definition in any of the centers right now, right? So, and which is interesting because it obviously is the new moon. So it's the start of the new cycle. So therefore there won't be definition today. So what's interesting is, so this gate 60 pops out at me and I'm like, okay, where is the gate 60 placed within the chart? And I go, like you can't make this stuff up, guys, like seriously. I go look at the planetary placement of where gate 60 is situated, and it is in Mars, right? Which means it's action. So Mars is the planet of action, and the gate 60 though is about resourcefulness. So there's two things that I want to share with you. The gate 60, this is so beautiful because Karen Curry Parker, she does quantum human design. I'm going to read her little description of gate 60. She calls it resourcefulness. She says the ability to find the blessings in transformation. I mean, the ability to find the blessings in transformation, optimism, and to know how to focus on what is working instead of what is not, right? Then I'm going to jump to the original, like the creator of human design, and how he explains it is the gate of acceptance, right? So the gate of acceptance means that even though you're wanting to grow and you're wanting to change, with that sometimes comes overcoming obstacles, but you're also going to potentially meet resistance where you feel like you need to control and push so that you can overcome. But it's understanding to accept the roadblocks as a gift, to know that it is needed for the transformation, right? To not get stuck in the, I want to say, the low vibration of what that roadblock actually looks, because it's resourcefulness, it's acceptance, right? Again, this is what we were speaking about. What is the truth of the matter versus what you think or what you're being told is actually the truth versus what is actually the truth right now. So it seems like we've hit a roadblock, but that roadblock is accepting what you can control versus what you can't control. How can you find the blessings in the transformation? How can you maintain the optimism? How can you lean into the truth? How can you see that everything is happening for you? And if you don't believe that, it's then doing the work in order to reconnecting with that truth, because that's ultimately the truth, right? And then to know what is working instead of to focusing on what it isn't working, that focusing and obsessing over the roadblock, and actually going, hold on, there's a roadblock, and it's not going to hinder me from actually stepping into my fullest purpose. It's not going to hinder me from attracting what it is that I'm due. Like, because again, the truth is that you're designed to be abundant. You're designed as a magnetic attractor. You're designed to be loved and supported and guided. Everything, that's the truth. And that's really the essence of what's happening at this this moment. So the invitation for all of us, including myself, because as I'm telling you this, I'm getting these aha moments of, yes, I'm still living it. We're all having this human experience, right? But it's the reminder that while we're taking inspired action, is to keep the optimism while doing the necessary work to clear, like what we've said, to clear, to make space for the new that is coming, to acknowledge that there's blessing in this. It is sometimes needed. I kind of want to say it with a very graceful heart, where I say sometimes a breakdown is needed in order to have a breakthrough. Now, do I want there to be a war to break out? No. But sometimes it needs to go that route in some form or shape. Like there needs to be some kind of a collapse in order to really spark a massive transformation. Now, I'm hoping that it doesn't go darker and deeper in order to really get us to transform. I'm hoping that this was enough for us to kind of get shook up and go, okay, we need to take inspired action in the right direction of where we're actually supposed to be headed, right, as a collective now. And it starts with you kind of at home. So it starts with your own life. It starts with how you are responding to this collective fear. And because I mean, it's interesting. Like, even if you look at the news, like what they're telling you versus what they're not telling you, looking at social and what people are sharing, you can kind of get lost in the energy spiral of that disempowering, and I've got an open solar plexus. And even if you've got an open solar plexus, like me, you're really amplifying the energy. And even if you don't have an open solar plexus, you're feeling the energy vibration, right? So either way, we're all feeling it. But now, are you going to get stuck in it? Are you going to use it as a roadblock, or are you going to use it as the catalyst to inquire on what is it trying to show me? How can I creatively allow for new inspired action to take place? And then how can I confidently know and connect with the bigger truths on a consistent day-to-day basis, moment-to-moment basis? Does that make sense?
You always make sense.
It's always just okay, you got me.
Yeah. You always make sense. And there is the beauty in unity, and there's the beauty in, we look at these things, right, Jaclyn? And for everybody listening, everything is purposeful. It may be painful. The process may be painful. And yet, hope burns eternal. And hope isn't a fallacy. Hope is a root of our being. It's like love. It's hope. And they've often said to us, right, Jaclyn? They've often said, the universe always says, the way to is through. And so, yes, we have to make peace with the process, whether it's our individual lives. There are times in life we all want it to be, we want it to be this Hollywood fairy tale. Wow, it all just, serendipitously came together, and it's just blissful and wonderful. And yet, some of our greatest growth comes through opposition. It comes through this painful process. It's not that we want it that way, but that's just, okay, currently that's the operating system that we're within. And thereby, okay, so how do we make peace with that quicker, faster, so that we're not lost in the illusion? We're centered in the truth. And the truth is, okay, we're in a progression moment here. We're in a transitional moment here, and we are looking to the new. And in this instance, in order for the light to shine brightly, deeply on the old, on the shadow, on this older patriarchal 2000. Remember, we've been in this era, this Piscean era. It's patriarchal for 2,500 plus years. I mean, we're right at that, and we're switching over into the Aquarian matriarchal, harmonizing of the two. And what is it talking about? Difficult beginnings, because we've got to learn how to merge ourselves. We've got to learn how to let go of our regression and our reaction, so as to respond, act with grace. Maybe not even, surprise, maybe not even cause a situation that requires something. Because or the cause is something of the light. It's of a higher octave. And thereby the response to it is welcome and enjoyed and valued, because it's something that is all encompassing. The ripple of it is positive.
Absolutely. And on that note, I want to kind of give every single one of you listening an invitation to tomorrow's show, The Science and the Soul, where we're literally going to be dealing with practical tips and also navigating crisis. So how to actually navigate crisis. What did you say? It was react or respond. What was the two words, the R words?
Correct. Respond versus react. So it's crisis.
React versus,
Absolutely. No, yeah, it's just the beauty of tomorrow's show on Science and the Soul is literally a little bit of an expansion of this, because it's funny, the current energies are speaking to it. We don't sit down and dictate. The Lady Jaclyn and I, we listen. We say, what are the gates? She looks at in human design. What are the gates for the collective? I sit down and listen and say, what do you want the collective to know? And yet, when we talked about what would be the show for Thursday, and it was about conflict and crisis and how to manage that in respond versus react and so forth. And so it's very interesting how they have us bridging these two this week, because the ultimate trajectory is peace. And again, it's funny because, Jaclyn, we sometimes talk about, peace, you know, beauty pageants, and they would say, what do you want? World peace. And, it was always this kind of, again, airy fairy statement. And yet this is saying to me, peace. This is exactly what we're going to have. And in order to arrive there, we do have these causal moments so that the world, collectively, the world can stop and say, I don't want it to be the old way. I don't want conflict. I want peace. I want harmony. I want the blending, the harmonizing, the blending of the masculine and feminine, the creative force and the reactive force. And here, Hexagram 3, speaking to the march, the culmination of where we're going is about difficult beginnings, perseverance. And yet when we arrive, we arrive.
Yep.
Absolutely.
So I'm super excited for tomorrow's show. So same time on the inside of the group as well. It's going to be live. So please do join us for that deep, amazing conversation that's going to take place. And we're also going to keep it practical. So we're going to share with you exactly what we do, what we found to work, that has helped us navigate through the crisis. And this is where I was speaking about, it was interesting how I call myself in understanding that we're at a similar pattern to 2 years ago, and how I'm actually navigating in a whole different way because of the experience that I've had, and we want to share that with you so that you can too feel the same way, and that no matter what happens in your life, that you're able to navigate it with grace, with ease, with flow, and you're able to really step into the best version of yourself, which then, like we said, gives permission to those around you to do the same. And that's how we make a difference. That's how the transformation happens. That's how the shift in consciousness is actually going to take place, and is taking place as we speak. Because just by you tuning in, by you being in this vibration, by we having these beautiful conversations, by you sharing it, this is how we're changing the consciousness.
And isn't it beautiful? Look at with this comparison of COVID and so forth, and how, in essence, world over right now, numbers are dropping. Thank you. Numbers are dropping, and thereby mask mandates and things like that are being eased, and we're transitioning. So isn't that an interesting piece? So we're up against this new. Here's one thing 2 years ago, and it's easing. It's finally easing, and the the requirements are easing, and simultaneously, the light is shining on this aggressive act that is allowing the world collectively to rise and have empathy and compassion and choice in voicing their response, which is, no, I don't want this anymore. I want the new. I want peace. I want harmony. I want reconciliation. All of these beautiful things, which is what we want in our own individual lives. So I find it just really fascinating, this timing of everything. I mean, it's, of course, divine tapestry. So I just wanted to throw that in. And lastly, as well, with the group. So as we do on Wednesday's show, and also then in the group, please comment, post in the group as well, or here on the Wednesday shows, Wednesday and Thursday. But let us know where you would like intuitive insights and human design wisdom guidance. Where are the things? Because again, we're in reciprocity. We listen and we put forth what we hear and what we know. But it's also, we're here to serve. And so we're here in reciprocity with you. So please bring out the items that you may wish for us to cover and everything, so that it is fully all-encompassing. And certainly the Lady Jaclyn and I are going to be popping into the group as we're just taking off here. The train is leaving the station. The wheels are, the energy is, I love that sound of the old train, like when you're in the train, and the sound of that is just, and so here we are. But rest assured, we're going to be a bullet train.
Absolutely, guys. Like literally, this is your invitation. We're on the train, and the train's about to leave. Are you joining us? Like that is kind of the invitation, because this train has got so many exciting things coming. What I'm going to do on the inside of the group, I'm actually going to create a post that then gives you an opportunity to share, like James has asked, where you'd like the most insights, like which area of your life would you like the most insight or answers or clarity on right now, whether it be relationship, career, business, life purpose, whatever sparks kind of that doubt, so that you can make space to inquire and get creative insights on what your inspired action is. Okay, so on the inside of the group, I'm going to create that post. Leave your comment there. And yeah, we'll
I love
to see you.
So I just looked at that, Brigitte. I love that, Brigitte. She says, as a projector, I'll take the invitation with a smiley face. I'm like, yes. That was absolute brilliance.
There we go. This is the beauty, because as a projector, I'm giving the invitation, and then you get another projector that's receiving it. So this is how the line frequency works and the synchronicity. So it's absolutely incredible. As always, we love tuning in every Wednesdays with you guys. It's an absolute pleasure to be able to hold space with you, to guide as we guide each other. I want to kind of say as we guide each other, because myself and James are literally the vehicles to receive the inspiration for whatever is needed. I mean, you literally saw it in action of where the universe was probing me with like I have a splenic ping, because I have a splenic inner authority in human design. So it literally was pinging me the whole time. I had this urge, like, look at the chart. And I'm like, but I've done my research. Like, I don't need to look at the chart. And then I was like, look at the chart. And I looked at the chart, and bang, the gate 60 came out, and how beautiful were it as well. And I was like, whoa, okay, where's this going? Oh, wow, this is so aligned. So that is the beauty of this space. And that is why we're going to continue to create even a more intimate space through the initiative, so that it can go even deeper with you guys. So as the train takes off, we want you to be part of it. We want you to be part of the space with us, because there are amazing, exciting things to come, definitely.
Yes, and again, the collective, it's amazing. We say this in the group and in the initiatives, that one person's question is 1,000 people's answer. And that could not be more true. So while it may not be your question, so as we dive deep in these initiatives and in the group and everything, just remember, while it may not be your question, it will answer something. It may not be your most prominent issue. Yours might be at the forefront, a relationship issue. And then all of a sudden, by spending the time with us and everything, that question and that question and that question and that question answered your question, your other questions, the ones that wasn't as prominent but you needed to hear. And that is the beauty of harnessing the power of the collective for this self-empowerment, this self-transformation, and these initiatives. And just as Jaclyn using her term, to get for the juiciness of it all, because there's so much there. So yes, Deborah just asked if you can share again a link for the group. And Elizabeth's joining us from France. We are glad that you made it. Yes, internet. Yes, we feel your pain sometimes. We know exactly what you mean. So Any last final thoughts, Jaclyn, for today's show before we sign off?
Uh, so the invitation, I think it's kind of the invitation to externalize the doubt as the spark to inquiry versus internalizing the doubt, which is then going to spiral you down into that disempowering kind of collective energy of crisis that's happening at the moment. That's kind of the key, the biggest key thing is to utilize it as, when you're catching yourself being doubtful, utilize it as a beautiful gateway into the transformation that is occurring. So either you're going to get on the train of transformation, or you're going to kind of be left on the platform wondering, okay, what next? And the universe is going to give you a nudge, right? So don't wait for the nudge from the universe. Use this as the invitation for you to catapult into that breakthrough, into the newness that's already there. It's there. It's waiting for you to just dive with both feet and not just one.
Jump in and be on the train.
Mm-hmm.
And I will just reiterate, I'm being guided to reiterate that the overall arcing message is hope, and its archaic or original meaning is a feeling of trust. And they always say the way to is through. And this moment is really about, yes, it is about the blending and the harmonizing of the masculine and the feminine. That is the Aquarian matriarchal rule. That's what it means. And you can't make it up based on the hexagrams. And that, yes, it's difficult beginnings, but we're to persevere, because ultimately we're being nourished while we wait, while we're in this transition. And wait doesn't mean do nothing. Wait is an active, in this moment, we're being nourished. And that its ultimate pinnacle, hexagram 11, is peace. And so with that, we love you all. We love that you join us each and every Wednesday. Please, like, share, subscribe, tag others, and so forth that may need it as you're moved to and inspired to. And we will see you tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Bye, guys.